Hey everyone, the Fox here for a brand new video of Fox Reacts. Like I said in the last one, or if this is the first one you're seeing, I'm currently not feeling well, so I'm just gonna do 2 videos today, and that will be it for all of today of May the 16th. May 16th. I'm not feeling well. I'm on the tail end of whatever the hell is going on inside me. So let's just check out this new vid from Khan about scrapped Digimon concepts that would have changed everything. Let's hop in.
With over 1,000 Digimon, it would make a ton of sense that some of them went through some drastic changes between concept and finalized design. With a lot of franchises, we never even get to see this beta and concept art, unless they leak as part of a huge hack.
Yeah, unless they leak.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
But thankfully, the artists and designers behind Digimon are very generous with their work, and often share their concepts online, or it is released as part of things like art books or Blu-ray releases. So on today's video, I'm going to be looking at 10 of the wildest pieces of concept art for Digimon.
Alright. Yeah.
What is up everybody, welcome back to another video, and yes, looking at concept and beta designs of Digimon is something that I am truly fascinated with. The credit for where I found all of these images and their supplemental information will be in the description down below. I want to give a special shout out to Wikimon, Mark FBR of With The Will, JP Excelsior and Fandramon, as well as a bunch of other people. Obviously, like I say, all those sources will be down below. I think to me what's most interesting about concept art for Digimon is it represents not just Digimon that we eventually got, but Digimon that perhaps we could get again in the future. Whenever I look at concept art, I'm always super inspired to see what changed, to see if these changes could be Digimon in their own right, or maybe if they could be like form changes or mode changes for the existing Digimon in the future. So let's begin with some Frontier art that was released as part of promotion for the Digimon Frontier Blu-rays in 2019. I actually covered the entire original concept for the Digimon Frontier season over a year ago, which you should definitely go check out after this video, card on screen now. But there were some designs that I'd either like to elaborate on or that I didn't cover in that video that I want to talk about now. First, there are these sketches for the evil spirits, which stay tuned for a video related to them soon, as well as Fairymon / Kazemon. But we also have this incredible looking discarded Centaur Digimon. I've been taken with this design for so long. It definitely feels like a counterpart to Kentaurismon, but a lot of its design also heavily reminds me of both Maildramon and Pawn Chessmon in its different evolutions. I could even seriously see it as a great alternate Digi-Egg of Light Armor evolution for Patamon. There's also some very interesting takes and ideas for Chakmon / Kumamon. We got this, which is a much more straightforward looking polar bear, but also this design, which I actually think looks far more in line with the other spirits in Frontier, but perhaps looked a bit too close visually to Garurumon, and was maybe discarded to stop it getting confused with Lobomon / Wolfmon. This art didn't stop there though, with some amazing prototype designs for Bulgmon / Metal Kabuterimon, one very much reminding me of Kongomon, Honey Beemon, and even Hercules Kabuterimon. Then a super cool dark Kabuto looking one with a big railgun head. I feel like it would be best friends with Weijin Gamamon. And then one that is very much closer to the finished Bulgmon. I think because we are so lacking in bug Digimon of the ultimate and mega level, I'd love to see these discarded designs turned into either variants of Bulgmon or just brand new bug Digimon. And like I say, if you want to see more Digimon Frontier beta designs, including a completely different take on Flamon and Agunimon, do go.
Sorry about that. I had to cough and did not want to cough in the mic. That would have sounded bad for all of you.
Go check out my video dedicated to it after you watch this one. Next is the original concept art for Gaomon, which is just radically different to the final design we got. It looks much more like a body match to Gaugamon, being on all fours and having these kind of ribbons coming out, but it is missing the signature gloves of Gaomon and its line, instead featuring a prominent yin-yang drum around its neck. I can't find anywhere that discusses what this is, so if you know exactly, please let me know down below, but it reminds me of the brandy barrels that rescue dogs wear around their necks. I think this just feels so different to Gaomon that it could easily be repurposed as a new Digimon in the future. Then is our boy.
The drums kind of reminding me of the Thunder God Raijin, and how sometimes he's depicted with like those lords drums on his back. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
From the Digimon VB, Pulsemon, who originally had a familiar but also quite different design. Much spikier and more clawed than the finished product, and focusing on a pink and yellow motif over the green and yellow we got in the finished design. I'm just picturing a world where we got a big pink and yellow Kazuchimon. This design process in particular also illustrates that the kind of V-shaped jewel or armor around Pulsemon's neck was probably originally supposed to be in a heart shape, to reference the heart rate monitor of the Digimon VB, and the idea of your heart resonating with your Digimon partner. This Pulsemon even has the signature heartbeat monitor logo on its wrist. Because of how this design looks, with the extra spikes, more concentrated dark areas and such, I honestly could see this being a great Pulsemon X antibody, with maybe just a couple of tweaks. And hey, if you still haven't got on board with Pulsemon and the Digimon VB or the Digivice V, I think you're going to love today's sponsor, Buyee. Buyee have been supporting this channel for almost a year now, which is incredible.
If you don't mind. It's an ad for him, not me, so I'm just skipping it, but I'm still giving him the views. Give us a moment. Does need a little bit. You know what, I'm gonna just pause and I'll be
Perhaps the Digimon with the most amount of concept art for one single Digimon we've ever seen is the Legend Arms Lion himself, Spartamon.
Hey,
and just look at this design sheet. It is so varied. This first design feels super unique to me. A sort of dragon evoking something, I guess, like Aztec headwear. And then we see experimentation with different swordsman cultures as we move throughout, with a samurai flag bearer, a more traditional European knight, and even this funky centaur guy who would be great in a line with Gladimon and Nightmon, or even that Frontier Centaur from before. I really adore how you can see these designs change and adapt, moving from dinosaurs to ambiguous creatures to more cemented mammals before finally settling on the finished design. And then there's just him. No thoughts, head empty, just a little guy. I love him and I need him. And then we have some real OG concept designs for Starmon, Tanemon, and Otamamon. These Digimon have been around for so long, it's almost hard to believe we even have concept art of them. But according to JP Excelsior and Fandramon, Tanemon's original design that we can see here was an onion that grew up in a scary way. I actually think this would be great as a virus-type variant of Tanemon now. Either a pre-evolution for Auroramon, or maybe in the next World game it could look after the meat farm at night time and tempt you with tainted Digimeat. Tainted Digimeat was my name in high school, by the way.
Oh, come on, Con. We're back.
Then is this, frankly, Shurimon kind of looking prototype design for Starmon. The idea being its arms and legs were made from electromagnetic waves. Starmon even may look like this under his gloves and boots in the finished design. I particularly like the extra details on this body. Makes him feel more like a spaceship or some ancient alien tech. And then there is Bisa Otamamon, who just looks like a Tamamon, except he chomp and he's smiley. He is simply existing.
That is adorable.
That'll do.
But moving on from the 90s, what about a moment that signified the 2000s? Yeah, these are two Digimon who were drafted up to commemorate December 1st, 2003, when the television switchover from analog to digital took place in Japan. Quick age check in the comments, who remembers analog TV? We sadly never actually got this really cool looking electric dragon Digimon with a headpiece made of TV and broadcasting items, but I really wish we had. He definitely evokes things like Shoutmon and Pulsemon to me, and would be a really cool kind of like smart guy Izzy style character companion, I think. But however, this guy with the broadcasting tower on his back really reminds me of Eldoradimon, who wouldn't exist until 3 years later in 2006, so it's definitely very possible this design somehow passed around, switched places and mutated before eventually becoming Eldoradimon. Or at the very least this idea of kind of a world turtle or dragon carrying a city or a tower on its back was something that someone at Bandai liked. And out of all Digimon, I think the ones we have the most concept art for are X-Antibody Digimon. Some that really stand out for me are this prototype Dracomon X, which I think looks a lot more friendly and cute than the finished design, which I kind of like, maybe not as an X-Antibody. This fascinating concept for Justimon X, which looked a lot more like the original coloration and design of Justimon, rather than the kind of Forze Fire States Justimon X we got in the end. And these really fun Monzemon X designs, whose general silhouette is basically basically the same as the final product, but there is one that looks a lot more angelic and not quite as jellified. But the one I like best is this dirty, creepy one with the eyeball in its belly and the Numemon-like sludge oozing out of its body.
God,
I kind of wish this was Monzemon X, because it really feels like a continuation of Monzemon, being a common Numemon evolution, and gives more personality to the scary creature that peeks out from within Monzemon too. If you want to see more X antibody concept designs, please do check those sources in the description, because I have left a Twitter search query showing off a bunch of posts from JP Excelsior showing off.
Well, I guess in my case, it'd be go to the description to get to this video, to then go over to those artists.
All those X antibody beta designs. Next up is this really cool Cross Wars concept. At this stage of development, Shoutmon was called Damudamon, coming from Dum Dum Bullets, but generally looked quite similar to his final design. Dorumon and Ballistamon are familiar, but quite different. Ballistamon looking a lot more like a robot Heracross, in fact. There's this strange looking little guy who may be an early idea for the Starmons or Chibic sword concept, as it does seem to resemble a sword hilt if you kind of squint a bit. And then there's this Gladiator Leonidas looking motherfucker who would later be changed to Sparamon. Kind of funny though, because it looks more like a Gladiator variant of Piximon. My name is Maximus Pickle Rickamus. Even Taiki looks different in this. His hair kind of reminds me of Kota, the protagonist from Digimon Chronicles hairstyle. Our penultimate concept was technically never commissioned by Bandai, but was a design drafted up by So Moriyama, who is a long-time Digimon designer, who created Digimon such as Agumon Expert, Rise Greymon, and my personal favorite, Fambimon through to Tiger Vespermon. This design he dubbed Zexmon was intended to be another counterpart to Omegamon and Alphamon. Designed back in 2004, So created this before the concept of Omegamon or Omnimon variants such as Omnimon's Wars, Alter S, etc. existed, and is comprised of Armageddonmon and Imperialdramon, which would kind of made it like a perfect Digimon for a situation like the Digimon Adventure 02 movie Diaboromon Strikes Back, although of course it existed a couple of years after that movie came out in Japan. While Zexmon was never used as an official design, it does seem that a lot of the underpinnings of its concept would go on to be seen in Chaosmon, which has its kind of standard mode made up of Bancho Leomon and Darkdramon, two Digimon also designed by So Moriyama. And finally, speaking of Omnimon concepts, let's look at some original drafts for the War Greymon and Metal Garurumon fusion that was seen in Digimon Adventure Our War Game, designed by Kenji Watanabe and the director of the movie Mamoru Hosoda, who also directed Bell, which, by the way, if you haven't seen Bell yet, try and see it in a theater. Really good theater experience. The first design we see here was dubbed Garuru Greymon, and feels more like a direct melding of the two megas. I have a weird affinity for sort of centaur design, so I quite like this, but I can see how it could have been moved on from, as it doesn't quite have the grandiose appearance of Omnimon. Next was Master Dramon, a concept I absolutely adore, but I adore it more as a Greymon family member than as an Omnimon alternative. I can definitely see elements of where Garurumon in here, rather than Metal Garurumon, but I do like the friendship and courage crests on its chest. And then finally is Agumon Bond of Courage?
Wait, what?
No, when you look closer, you can definitely see the War Greymon arm and Courage shoulder pad. I like that War Greymon's head has 3 claws like he normally does. That works quite well, by the way. And the other side is clearly made up of Metal Garurumon parts, but holy shit, this thing looks so much like a more armored Agumon Bond of Courage. It's actually quite insane. I wonder if almost 20 years on from Digimon Adventure Our War Game, when it came to design Digimon for Last Evolution Kizuna, the team behind that looked to the past of discarded concepts for Digimon, especially Our War Game, which definitely influenced Kizuna a lot, and went, hey, that's a really cool design. What if we use that and split it in 2? Would certainly add some more weight and significance to Kizuna, I guess, huh? Well, that's the video. Let me know in the comments down below your favorite of these concept Digimon designs, and which ones would you like to see return. Huge shout out to my Sovereign ZDK14, as well as all the...
Looks like we all done. So, I want y'all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support Khan and everything he does, and I'll see all of you folks in the next video. Have a good one.